What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video I wanted to try and bring back a Pokemon to see if it can do well in the meta that we do see now in the Great League that we probably haven't used in a long time. That's going to be Shadow Hypno. With the Rise of Clodsire, Shadow Hypno with Confusion has the opportunity to chunk that thing down. I'm also going to be pairing it with an Alolan Sandslash lead with Powder Snow and a Sableye as our safe swap. This team overall, it didn't do amazing, but it also didn't do bad. It was kind of middle of the road, but I thought it was cool to give Shadow Hypno a try as it does face off against some Clodsire. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Alright, getting into the first battle, we have Sandslash on the lead versus Medicham. Obviously a bad lead right here. We're going to go ahead and utilize Sableye on this team as the safe swap, as we do draw out a Shadow Abomasnow. Haven't seen this thing in a long time, but 'tis the season to be frosty, if you know what I mean, as Foul Play is going to go ahead and get shielded right there. Now, in this matchup, what I'm looking to do is try to see if I can get ourselves shield advantage, that 1-0 potentially. So we're going to go ahead and no shield, call the potential Weather Ball. Could have been Energy Ball, but I was really hoping it was we could survive right there. I think that was Energy Ball, but we're going to go ahead and get farm down, which is fine. We're going to come in with Alolan Sandslash here and look to go for the Weather Ball as quick, or not the Weather Ball, sorry, the Ice Punch. Yeah, I put Ice Punch over there. The Ice Punch as quickly as we can, as I do not want to tank multiple charge moves here from the Abomasnow. I just want to get rid of it. I have a 2-0 shield advantage, so I'm hoping Shadow Hypno has some play, as we do see Medicham come back in, and they are not swapping out. This is beautiful right here. Shadow Hypno is putting in the work that we used to see it do back in the day, probably in the first couple seasons of Go Battle League. Shadow Hypno was a monster and still honestly is. It just has trouble against a lot of the steel type Pokemon in the meta. But what we're looking to do here is go for a Thunder Punch. I don't want to instantly KO it, just in case I need energy on the back end of this, so I want to try to farm it down. And sure enough, there was a Frostlass in the back, which makes a lot of sense. So Shadow Hypno right here, you love to see it. Boom! Nearly one-shots as we fast move down, and they will surrender. So that is going to be a good game, or not surrender, I fast move down. That's going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving into the next one. Minty Registeel on the lead. So Drill Run right here, very good for us. Now, unfortunately, I don't have Shadow Claw on this Alolan Sandslash. I have Powder Snow, and that's to help out against the Lickitungs and Superiors as well. But Drill Run still does a good amount of damage, and I'm fine with taking this into the ones to try to see where we can go. So I'm going to go ahead and shield the charge move. They decided to go for Zap Cannon, hoping for an attack debuff, but unfortunately they didn't get it. So now I have a really big opportunity before me. That is to firstly even up the shields, and secondly, I might be able to catch a Focus Blast here on Sableye. So I'm going to go ahead and swap. They throw as well. This might just be Zap Cannon, but I caught the Focus Blast. That is huge, as a Shadow Sableye is now going to swap in, and I am ahead on energy. Well, they're even now. They have a Foul Play. But I should be able to get to the next one before they Shadow Claw me down. So they're going to go ahead and look to throw right here. I will give up the shield to stop this Foul Play because I want to KO the Shadow Sableye, as the Registeel is out of energy. So I think we're going to be okay right here. Sableye does KO. Boom! Down it goes. Next Pokemon coming in is going to be Shadow Hypno as well. And I have the thought in the back of my head that this thing might have Fire Punch. And so there's a thought right here. I could catch on 4. That's 3. I could catch right after this and swap into my own Shadow Hypno. But I don't want to risk that in case they actually don't. And they decide to throw like a Shadow Ball and do one more Confusion, throw Shadow Ball. So we actually eat the Fire Punch. Boom! Down I go. But Shadow Hypno is going to come in, and now they are in trouble as the Registeel swaps back in. I'm going to make sure I overload on energy right here. That way I can get to a Thunder Punch against my opponent on the back end to KO. This Thunder Punch will take out the Minty Registeel, and they actually decide to surrender. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. All right, moving into the next one, we have Pelipper on the lead, a shiny one at that. Powder Snow right here. I mean, Shadow Claw and Powder Snow both do well for neutral damage. We just want to try to get this Pelipper somewhat low, but also maintain our Sand Slash, because Pelipper, this season in particular, really likes to pair with Registeel. It has a lot in the past, but I am reading that, you know what, there could in fact be a Registeel in the back. So we're going to want to play to that. I'm going to go ahead and give up a shield here on this Weather Ball. I want to try to see if I can get a shield from them with this next Ice Punch, and then I'm going to look to go into my Sableye and maintain the energy here on Alolan Sand Slash. So we do get the shield. I will swap out now into Sableye here to catch the charge move, making sure I maximize my energy there on Alolan Sand Slash as we do catch the Weather Ball, and they actually bring in a Clodsire. So Clodsire can pair well. It has that ground typing, right? So it helps out against the electric types, most commonly Lantern, that Pelipper would need to watch out for. So what we're going to see here is the Clodsire look to go for an Earthquake, and I'm fine with letting the Sableye go. I think there's a huge advantage, boom, that we can take right here, and that's going to be putting Hypno in against Clodsire, exactly what we need to see and what it's capable of in this meta. And those confusions, considering the bulk, consider the bulk here on Clodsire, that you guys know it's like an XL Azumarill. These confusions are chunking, and we can survive that one Earthquake, and now we are able to fully farm down. So let's see what they have in the back. Remember, Pelipper is one confusion away from getting fast move down, and it's also out of energy. Our Alolan Sandslash is healthy. Final Pokemon is going to be Nidoqueen, but they catch the Shadow Ball on the Pelipper. That's a beautiful catch by my opponent. But the Nidoqueen, unfortunately, is going to meet its fate with our Alolan Sandslash here with Powder Snow and Ice Punch. So a very cool double ground poison backline right there that they are running, the Shadow Nidoqueen and the Clodsire. But obviously having a Confusion user and a Steel-type Pokemon with Ice-type fast and charge moves is going to make quick work of those typings that they have. So good game, very well played to my opponent. Boom! Down goes the Nidoqueen. Alright, moving into the next one. Sableye on the lead. So, we want to try to get this Sableye out of the game, or just get it low so that we can come in and farm. I necessarily can't swap out into my own Sableye to catch a charge move, and I can't obviously swap into Hypno, so we need to use our own Alolan Sandslash to try to take care of it. Now, when I'm reading a Sableye on the lead, there is a big concern that there might be a Steel type in the back, but they actually swap into an Azumarill and they catch the charge move. So what I'm going to look to do here is, because Bubble doesn't do that much damage, I'm going to try to see if I can build back up to Ice Punch and then swap out into our Shadow Hypno. This is going to put me in a very tough position though. I maintain energy on my Alolan Sandslash, but unfortunately, I won't be able to win this mid game without giving up resources on my Hypno. Even though Thunder Punch here does do super effective damage, what I think I might be able to do is, depending on how they decide to play this, I might look to, I could actually farm down right here, but I decided not to. So I decided to let this go, and then I'm actually going to come in with Sableye and load up on energy. I think Azumarill might be the hardest counter, and if there is in fact a Registeel in the back, I want this Sableye to have a lot of energy. Now my opponent does get to another charge move, and I was very concerned I miscounted, so I shield, but I was on point and it was actually an Ice Beam, so that is just unfortunate for me. I could have potentially let that go, but this is our last Pokemon, so I guess giving up a shield is fine. Now, they bring in a Sableye, so I'm going to go ahead and go for the foul play right away. We do take it out. Final Pokemon is going to be Clodsire, so maybe I should have shielded right there, but ultimately, this is going to be a very close game, and I think a good learning opportunity as well that we're going to have here in the end, as I obviously need to try to land charge moves, foul plays, Ice Punches. We just got to get this thing down, and we got to see what we can do, as this Clodsire is going to have a lot of energy. There are 2 Earthquakes likely coming. This isn't a scenario where they would probably throw a Sludge Bomb, so we're going to go ahead and shield the first Earthquake. I'm hoping that maybe I could catch the charge move, but I decided to go for foul play right here, and hope they decide to shield, because I think Alolan Sandslash, but they didn't. Alolan Sandslash with Ice Punch, I decided to go for Ice Punch here, and this is where the mistake was made. I went for a charge move. I should have just been going straight fast moves because I could have gotten an extra Powder Snow in right there, which means I get the Shadow Claw through. Unfortunately, actually, maybe they would have KO'd. So unfortunately, boom, we do go down. So a slight misplay on my end. So good game, very well played. All right, moving to the next one. We got Swampert on the lead. Could have probably farmed down with Hypno and had a lot of energy. Swampert here on the lead. Another situation like Sableye where you necessarily don't need to swap out, as we can do a lot of neutral damage. But if I can get myself shield advantage here, I think I'll take it, as they decide to no shield the first charge move. And we're going to go ahead and go for CMP tie, but this could be an Earthquake, and I don't want to give up a shield. Ooh, boom, down I go. That is very unfortunate. They have quite a bit of energy still, so I'm going to go ahead and come in with the Hypno and Confusion down. Now this Swampert right here, this Hydro Cannon's going to hurt, but ultimately Hypno should be able to Confusion down. We'll have to see what they have in the back. Hopefully no Alolan Ninetales with Charm. Please don't have Alolan Ninetales with Charm. It's going to be Registeel. Okay, so whatever they have in the back, this is their best answer to my Hypno, right? This is their best matchup. So first thoughts are maybe it's an interesting kind of like ABA line. It could be Medicham back there. So I'm thinking relying on Sableye is going to be a good call, but I decide to shield anyways on the Hypno so that I can try to get myself a shield right here, as I do decide to go for Thunder Punch. This is a good opportunity. We didn't get debuffed with Zap Cannon, so they might give up the shield, which they do. So I'm going to go ahead and swap into Sableye now, and they counter swap at the same time into Charizard. So Charizard, Registeel was the better answer to Hypno because of its defenses. Shadow Confusion shreds through a Charizard if you guys have ever seen that before, but my opponent, I think, made a critical mistake and they let the foul play go through. We're going to go ahead and shield, and it is going to be Blast Burn. This allows us to easily farm down, and then Registeel coming back in. We're going to make quick work of it with the foul play. Now, the Registeel does have some energy, so I anticipate them shielding as they just did and throwing Zap Cannon to KO. But my Hypno still has a good amount of health, and because I shield baited with Thunder Punch earlier, we're going to be able to, boom, get to another one pretty quickly here with just 2 fast moves, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. So, Shadow Hypno facing off against some decent meta Pokemon and doing, you know, pretty well this season. So, good game. Alright, moving into the next one. Sandslash versus Alolan Ninetales on the lead. If it is Charm, yes it is, we gotta stay in. Obviously we cannot go into Sableye. We are staying in. Now, I have seen teams before where it's Charm, Alolan Ninetales, Swampert, and Medicham. Now, I wasn't necessarily thinking this is going to be the team because it could be anything in the back, so I don't want to make any early assumptions. But if I see a Swampert as well, then I'm going to read that it is going to be a Medicham. That is just something to note here, as I will go for an Ice Punch, as this should be enough resisted damage to KO. And if it's not, then we just Powder Snow down. There's the Swamp. It's not a Swampert. It's a Quagsire. I saw the typing in the top right. I'm like, it's Swampert. All right, it's Medicham. This is a good game. I got Hypno. I got Sableye. Like, we're looking good. So what I decide to do here is come in with Shadow Hypno. I feel like the Confusion is going to do a lot. Again, I am potentially reading that it is a Medicham in the back based on what I've seen. And so I decide to no shield these charge moves right here, as I think Sableye can just take it in the end, right? Again, making some not bad assumptions, just educated guess, but it's a Superior in the back. And this is the situation where I should be going for Thunder Punch. It's their final Pokemon. I should be shield baiting, but I went for Shadow Ball. I counter swap now into Sableye. And this is the tough thing about Superior, is one Frenzy Plant claps a Sableye. It's bad. So we're going to go ahead and shield. And it's going to be Aerial Aces coming through. This is so tough. And because I'm behind on energy, maybe I could have gotten away with just swapping out right away. I think that might have been a better call. But we land a foul play there. So we're going to go ahead and give up a shield and then hope that we can farm down. And this is where I made mistake number 2, is I didn't throw a foul play. I thought I could get the farm down. They were, one fast move. I was one fast move away. Boom, I go down. The Quagsire comes back in. I fast move down. Hypno comes back in, or the Superior comes back in, and we simultaneously KO. So good game to my opponent. I made some misplays right there, but ultimately, fun battle. Alright, final one, Medicham on the lead. We save swap into Sableye, and there is a Shadow Steelix in the back. So this is obviously a tough Pokemon to deal with because of the oppressive fast move and charge move combination of Dragon Tail and Breaking Swipe. So Sableye is really not going to come out of this mid-game matchup in a positive situation other than getting myself shield advantage and getting the Steelix low. So that's what I'm looking to do here. I'm not looking to take switch. I'm looking to do what I did in game 1 with that Medicham lead, was look to leverage Hypno to sweep, especially if this Steel type is on the field now. The odds are the Pokemon number 3 is going to be something that takes more neutral damage from Confusion, and this is a perfect situation. This Steelix as well only did not build up to Earthquake. I think it's one fast move short, so I decided to make that call and no shield. And thankfully, it was a Breaking Swipe, and we do Powder Snow down. We're going to see the Medicham come back in, so we counter swap, and it's a Bastiodon in the back. What are you doing? Oh man, this team, Bastiodon, Steelix, and Medicham. So what I have to do is fake a boom right here. I have to fake that I have Focus Blast. So I decide to build up a lot of energy, go for the Thunder Punch to fake the boom, but they decided to no shield. Oh man. If I was running Focus Blast, that would have been the most beautiful comeback of all time. Now I got to start going for Shadow Balls to try to do neutral damage, but of course that's when they decide to give up their shield. And this is going to be a good game. There's really nothing I can do right here as the Bastiodon is just going to fast move me down. The Alolan Sandslash still has to face off against Medicham. It's just a worst case scenario. And yeah, I'm still going to try to fight the good fight, get some damage down, but ultimately there's really no coming back from this. Even if we had flipped mid-game matchup Sableye into Steelix, it would have still been an Alolan Sandslash into the Bastiodon, who still had 2 shields. I would have to give up shields against Steelix in order to maintain that, so one Flamethrower would have taken me out. So good game, very well played. Again, this team was kind of middle of the road, if I'm being honest. I've had a lot better teams. Maybe this will work out for you depending on where you're at, but I wanted to try Shadow Hypno because of what it can do against Clodsire, which we are now seeing as kind of a part of the meta. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.